Welcome to the Post Workout Podcast. I'm Luke Madden, and this is just a quick introduction to the podcast, which I'll keep short and sweet. My goal with this podcast is to help educate people on health and fitness, and I plan on having a lot of interesting guests on to help me do so. These guests will be anyone from bodybuilders to footballers to mixed martial artists, boxers, swimmers, runners, any kind of athlete really is what I'm looking for. And the reason being is because these guys will have a story of their journey as to how they got to where they are now and what it took to get there, the obstacles that they've had to overcome, and what learnings and teachings that we can take from this. As well as athletes, I'm looking forward to having people from the business world on board, entrepreneurs and people who have built their own business. Again, there'll be a hell of a lot to learn from these people, and we'll be able to take a lot of value from talking to these people. This is the overall format for the podcast and the types of people that I want to bring on, but overall, I just want to have some interesting conversations. So not every episode will be based around personal development. Sometimes I'll just have people on who I find interesting and who I think can still add value from what they have to say. I'm really looking forward to getting the ball rolling. I've got a list of names of people who I want to have on, but feel free if you want to come on to get in contact with me. On my Instagram, I am Luke Madden Fitness. On Facebook, I am Luke Madden Fitness. And on YouTube, you guessed it, I am Luke Madden Fitness. A quick introduction to myself. I am 24. I'm from Lisburn. My coaching is based in Lisburn at Connected Fitness, and my online coaching is accessible anywhere in the world. I've been a coach now for 5 years. I started out in the industry as a fitness instructor at a gym called Fit for Less before moving to Pure Gym to start personal training. Since Pure Gym, I've went on to the Fitness Yard and was a personal trainer there. And then since then, I have now got started at Connected Fitness, which I've been at for, I think, 8 months now. My background in sport would have been playing football from as young as I can remember, really. Would have been from no age, and I've played my whole life. I think I've taken 2 breaks from football, and one would have been just because of bodybuilding. It got to the stage where it was kind of impossible to do both and balance it. And the other stage, I think I took about 3 or 4 months because I wasn't really enjoying it at one stage. That was in 2017, and that's when I first started going to the gym. So I started going to the gym in 2017. I was a skinny fat kid. What I mean by that is that I had a wee bit of a belly on me, but I had no muscle at all. So I was skinny in that sense, but I was fat in the sense I had a wee gut on me. And that was probably just from stopping playing football, because I was always quite a skinny kid. But from the day I started training in the gym, it just became an obsession. Seeing progress, it quickly became the first thing on my to-do list every single day. Fast forward to October 2021, and I done my first training photo shoot. And then fast forward further to July 2022, and I competed on stage for the first time, and it was an amazing experience. Both of these are probably the 2 spells that I enjoyed the most because I was really pushing myself towards a big goal. The photo shoot was a 12-week dieting phase, and the competing on stage was an 18-week prep. So they really pushed me to my limits, which is what I enjoyed doing. I was so laser focused on the goal ahead, and that's exactly what I done and stuck to, and the sense of achievement afterwards was massive. Since then, I've created goals of just becoming more practical. Bodybuilding left me in a state where I was 92 kilo, and if anyone knows me, I am quite short, so being 92 kilo at my height is daft, to be honest. So I was that heavy, and I was just very stiff. You know, the type of training, it does leave you stiff, and I was terrible for stretching. So my mobility was awful. I was heavy, and I was incredibly unfit as well. So I would have got to the top of a flight of stairs and been gassed. I would have been out of breath at that stage. So I decided that I needed to make a bit of a change. At that stage, I got back playing football, which took a lot to get into. Shin splints were awful. Fitness was terrible. But after a couple of months, I came around, and I got back into the swing of things. I then took up boxing as well. So I've been boxing now for about 7 or 8 months, and I absolutely love it. You'll probably hear plenty about it on the podcast because I'll be getting people who are like-minded and share similar stories. But the beauty of boxing for me was that I got to learn a new skill, and I got to be a beginner again. When it came to working in a gym, being in a gym all the time, it quickly became like the go-to guy. So if anyone wanted to build muscle, they would be asking about exercises, and I would be the go-to guy for advice in regards to exercising and food. So to take myself out of that environment and go into boxing where I'm a complete beginner, I absolutely love that. So I went into a boxing club. The oldest person there in my group was 15 years old. And I just got to go to the coaches and just be like, look, just teach me. I'm a complete beginner. Teach me everything, teach me the basics. And I was just happy to learn. Fast forward from that, walking into the boxing club at 92 kilo. I'm now about 72 kilo, and I had my first exhibition fight. So that was my first time fighting in front of a crowd. And that was about a month ago now, and I absolutely loved it. It was an incredible experience. Other than that, I'm not sure there's that much more to me. I consider myself a very social person. I've got a good social life. I'm busy. And for some reason, I seem to like to make myself more busy. Hence why I'm starting a podcast, which will probably take about over a day to edit up. I've currently got 2 cameras on the go. I've got 2 microphones, one sitting over there for guests that I'm going to have on. But then to sync the audio and the visuals, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. But again, I'm looking forward to it. I like a new challenge, and this is my new challenge. I'm actually probably a wee bit more nervous for the editing of the video rather than actually having people on and speaking to them. The podcast will be available on Spotify and YouTube, so whatever platform you're on, all I ask is that you help and support us. If you're listening on Spotify, please give us a follow and like the podcast. And if you're on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe and like the video. I hear Stephen Bartlett say on every episode of A Diary of a CEO, the bigger the podcast gets, the bigger the guests get, and that is definitely the case for us. Because this is very small scale, obviously, to start, it needs to have a bit of traction if we're going to get some big names on and be able to have some really, really interesting conversations. So please do make sure to show us that support. Even if you are listening on Spotify at the minute, head across to YouTube, hit subscribe and pop the video a like. And if you're on YouTube right now, head across to Spotify and give us a follow and like the podcast clip on there. It does mean the world to me. I am excited to get this going, and I really want to see it grow. And as I say, the more it grows, the better it gets. Anyway, thank you so much for making it this far. You'll be glad to know that if you have made it this far, then tomorrow is the day that the first episode gets released. This is simply an introduction to let you know what the crack is with the podcast and what's upcoming. Tomorrow, the very first episode will be released, and I am more than excited. I hope that you're excited too. Thank you.